In this video, we will learn how to iterate over an array in JavaScript. So before we do that, let me share this with you that when we have an array and we want to, I want to get rid of this. Okay, I think this is okay. Oh, that's good. So let's just start all over again. I apologize for this. So in this video, we will learn how to iterate over an array using for loop, while loop, for off loop, for each loop. Uh, I use these four different kind of loops in an array. In JavaScript, if there are some new loops, which I may not know. So, but these four different kinds of loops I use quite frequently. Before I start looping through an array, I want to show you how to print the first element. To print the first element, so I created an array and I call this array an array. I'm using Pythonic notation the way I write. I write Python code. I'm a data scientist, so I write Python code a lot, quite a bit. But you may see without this underscore and a from or from array is capital. That's another way of writing. So if you're comfortable with that, I understand. And if you don't like my notation, you can change it. I am very comfortable with both. But here I'm just using Pythonic way. Okay, I apologize for the anyone who die-hard JavaScript coder. Okay, now that is out of the way. So the line number 2, I'm going to print an array and I'm using index 0 because whenever we need to retrieve or get the value from an array we must use an index. So let's save this program and let's run it. And I'm going to use Node, and the name of my file is loops.js, LWO.js. Oh, and what happened? I did not. Okay, it did print. Let me just show you. It print okay, it did print, but I think I have to. See, it printed 176, but I had so much code there and I did not comment it out. So let me comment out because I don't want to show you the whole code and I forgot to comment it, but now you learn something new. When you comment out some code, all you have to do backslash asterisk. And now as you can see that, hold on. Asterisk and backslash. Okay. Now I didn't want to show you the whole output yet. It's overwhelming. So I just wanted to show you one line at a time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clear my terminal CLS and I'm going to run it again. So it must be CLS page up, page up. So page up from your screen, from your keyboard, sorry. That's what I want to say. If I press enter and you can see now 176 is the first value. Now what I can do to make it a little bit beautify or easier to understand, I can write this with a message and I can say first value is first value in the array is giving me an option or a hint. Okay, so I press tab and Control S to save and let's run our code. So now we're going to see a message, first value in array is 176. Now let's print first and the second. So I already wrote the code. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just uncomment. Okay. When you comment just one line, use double slash. If you want to comment out multiple lines, if you don't want to show the output of all this code, you can just comment out. Why I want to comment this out? Because I don't want to rewrite it. I don't want to rewrite this code. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just comment this out because writing code while I'm making a video, creating a video is quite it takes a lot of concentration and it just so much time is wasted for the reason I commented out. So I wrote my code before I ran it and it's working, and I'm going to show you just line by line. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to print out the first value and the second value. Now I'm going to print out the second value with the message. So quotation, comma, and I'm going to write second value in the array is, I press tab, so it already filled in. So now let's run our code. If I go to my keyboard and press page up, I have this code already in the memory, and I press enter. So as you can see, now we can print first, second, third, or the last value, any value we want. So now you understand that printing a value, we must go through the index. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to uncomment this for loop, but I don't want to show you the while loop just yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this, Control X to cut, and I'm going to paste it on line 10. So as you can see, so now the compiler is going to, now if I don't want line 2 and line 3, I don't want to show the output of line 2 and 3, so I commented out. Okay, now what's going to happen is compiler is going to just read the for loop and it's going to print out. Okay, so, and I'm going to comment out this line number 9, which I will explain you in a bit. Okay, so now I did not save it, so I'm Control S to save. Let's go back to the terminal, CLS. No, I don't clear it. Let's see what happens. So now I'm running my script. So as you can see now, loop is a continuous process, is an iterative, or imagine in a circle, going in a circle. Okay, so it's going to go in a circle, print the first value, then go in a circle, print the second value, then again in the circle, third, fourth, and the last value, and then it will stop. That is what the loop is. In one shot, we can get all the values from this array. Okay, so 176, 952, 381, and so on until we get the last value, and it will stop. So we have to use the index 0, like I showed you above or before. So index 0 I is very conventional, that index just using index I is equal to 0. We set equal to 0 because through index 0 we will get the first value. Then what I'm going to do, I'm using a method length. Length mean is going to count how many values in an array. Then I'm going to apply this on array, which is the name of the array. And then I have to increment my index 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So I can get all values, and that is the third part, which is I++. And then console.log to print, and then we print the message value is, and then the name of the array is an array, and then this square bracket, and I goes inside, and I is going to change from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Okay, so that's what it does. I'm also writing my comments right here. It is a good practice. If you're taking a course, your teacher will ask you to write a comment. So you say loop through the array, or the start of this for loop right here, line number 6. Line number 7, the code on line number 7 does, prints the value of each element in the array. Okay, so that is the commenting. That makes sense when we are coming back and reading our code. We're 5,000 lines. Okay, so that is a good practice. And so that is the for loop. Okay, so let's go. There's another way we can print the same thing using while loop. What happened? Space back. I'm going to uncomment line number 10, Control X, and I don't want to print everything. So I'm going to paste, Control V to paste. Now we're going to see the output of for loop and while loop. While loop is another way we can print the same output. We have to use let I is equal to 0, that's the index. Then we apply a condition while we have parentheses, and I is going to increment. And I has to be less than array length. Okay, so it has to be inside the array. That's we're looping through an array. Then right here we print the value, which is just like line number 7, printing the value. And I think that's about it. Now, while loop, if you don't increment, is going to go into an infinite loop. I is not going to become 1. And for the second value, I has to become 1. So this is how we are incrementing I by 1. 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. So that is a thing we must remember in I to increment what, okay, increment I. Otherwise, it's going to go into give you an error or infinite loop. Now, console.log, I don't want to mix two outputs together. So line number 9, console.log will give me in a space. Okay, so let me show you the output so that will make a little bit more sense. Okay, so let's do that. So Control S to save, and I'm going to go back to my terminal. And I think I need to show you this too. So there's another way you can also show your output by using your command line. What is the command line? If you go to search CMD, it will give you the command line. This is terminal as well. Okay, but now many code editors, they already have built in, so we don't have to go outside and do all these things manually. Now, when you're going to open your um, terminal, you're not going to be in the same folder. Let me move this down so you see. If you hover over loops.js, I am in Soli. I need to go to desktop, main folder, and JS folder. So CD to change drive, I'm going to go to desktop, backslash, and then main folder, and backslash, and I'm going to JS. Excuse me. Now I'm in the right folder, and in this side folder or directory, I have this file is called loops.js. So node loops.js, enter. And as you can see, now we have to, let me zoom in so you can see that a little bit better. So you can see now we have two outputs, first from the for loop, and the second one is from the while loop. And as you can see, we have a space in between because line number 9, right, in my right here, line number 9 will create a space between two outputs. Otherwise, they will get mixed up. It's really difficult to see. Okay, so now that is that, and I am going to show you my output from this built-in terminal, while loop and for loop. Now we have, so as you can see right here, this is this output is from for loop, and the next 5 values or output is from the while loop. So I could have written a line of code and starting a while loop, starting a for loop, but I leave this up to you. Okay. Now let's go to line. Now I'm going to go a little bit faster and I'm going to show you all. So for each is a little bit fancier way of in JavaScript looping over over an array. Okay, looping over an array. So for of and for each. So here is the code. It's code a little bit different, and while and for loop is much more compact. So if you're not sure, you're going to do some research. But here is the code. Now I'm going to show you from four outputs from the same. So what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to clear CLS, and I'm going to node and groups.js. Okay, so excuse me. So as you can see, this is the for loop, this is the while loop, and the third one is for of, and the fourth one is for each. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. So I hope this video is helpful. Please practice. And if you enjoy this video, if you like this, the way I explain things, slowly go through a lot of details. And well, I forgot to mention that I'm using VS Code. I'm using VS Code. So please give me thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. I am a data scientist. I'm also creating a series of data science and pandas and whatever I'm learning, I love to share with you. But would you please subscribe to my channel? Thank you so much.